Wednesday Night Live. I'm Dr. Duncan. This is Ron Veitel, and we're Siskiyou Vita Medicine. And we've taken a week off, so we're trying to get back into the swing of things.
Back in the groove?
Back in the groove. Checking in with those of you who are not in Southern Oregon. Welcome to Wednesday Night Live. And it's raining down here. We're getting some moisture for the spring and
much needed.
Setting us up for the summer.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It's always good to see the rain coming.
Really excited about it. So, we invite all of you to check in with us and post questions that you may have regarding your health and wellness. And it's been crickets out there, so Ron and I just been flowing and trying to figure out, what do we talk about? And we have a lot of interesting conversations around the lunch table. So tonight we thought about talking about what is healing and talking about some of the programs that we have here at Siskiyou and how that relates to the concept of healing and health and wellness.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, healing. I guess this for me, it's such a big question because in the healthcare profession, many times people are looking for physical healing. They're
relief from
alleviation of physical symptoms.
Yes.
Right. So,
yeah.
I have this. I have high blood sugar. I want to
neuropathy.
lose weight. I have neuropathy. I have cardiovascular disease, and so it's fixing the physical being, which is important.
Absolutely.
Which is really important. But I always wonder, is there more to healing than just the alleviation of physical symptoms? And I have my thoughts around that.
Maybe I'll start by saying, and a lot of you who are members here know this about me, and that is that, I had severe back pain for 2 years, and I looked for answers high and low, and through that process of healing and getting better, I came to a different understanding about pain and discomfort. And for me, it was a little bit of a lesson. And one of the things I learned in med school, so I had severe sciatica during med school, and one of my dear professors said that if you're lucky enough, you'll come down with something that will change your life and will teach you something about health. And so lo and behold, I came down with a herniated disc and sciatica, and what I learned through that process is, one, compassion and empathy, but I learned that pain can be a teacher,
right?
And that I didn't have to be a victim of pain. So I think I kind of came to a different understanding on different levels, outside of just finding physical relief. I had to find ways to get into my mind, into my mental, emotional, spiritual being. So I think I found healing and I think this kind of gets to where you're going maybe a little bit, that my healing went kind of beyond the physical body, and it went beyond the pain I was feeling. I kind of went into a deeper place.
Right. It makes you tap into something deeper within yourself.
Yeah, and there was a lesson there.
Right.
And I think that's what the professor was alluding to, that there's always a lesson to be had or taught or understood.
Right.
It really just depends on our perspective.
I had a teacher, he said, he put it really in an interesting framework. He said, the alleviation of symptoms is curing, but finding the reason or learning the lesson behind the illness is true healing. So we can alleviate the symptoms, but if we don't get the lesson that it's offering us, that the condition is offering us, then we haven't really done the deeper healing work yet. But when we get the lesson that we're offered, now that's real healing. And I can attest to that in my life, of things that I have gone through, that when I got the lesson of them, it was like there was a deeper mental, emotional, spiritual healing that took place for me.
Mm-hmm.
That led to long-lasting change.
which is what we're all hoping for.
Exactly.
Long-lasting change.
Long-lasting change. Because if you can alleviate physical symptoms, you can bring the body into balance. But can you keep it there?
Right. Yeah, I get a lot of that through people asking me, for either natural ways or alternative ways to treat something that they've been on medications for a long time. And I think that's sort of, we can alleviate symptoms, but it's not real healing. We didn't really, with a medication, we may not have addressed the root
right.
of the cause, right? Or
exactly.
The root of the problem. We didn't address the underlying cause.
The trajectory of health is still in a downward decline. Like, say you take somebody with diabetes, and they're on glucophage or
right.
insulin, and yes, that brings their blood sugar into balance. But if they're not changing, if they're not making the lifestyle and dietary changes or mental emotional changes that are necessary, their trajectory of health is still on a downward decline.
Right.
It's just that their blood sugar is, quote, normal now.
Right. And they might feel better.
And we might feel better.
But they never fix the problem. They never address the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's tricky.
It is tricky, right? Because none of us want to be in pain. It really limits our ability to enjoy our lives or live the lives that we'd like to live. But oftentimes the symptoms are of disease or dis-ease is pain or something that comes to our physical attention. And while we do want to alleviate those symptoms, we really want to get to
right.
what caused that. And it happens to be that lifestyle changes are probably the most difficult changes to make.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's the easy stuff, it's the no-brainer stuff, but it's the hardest stuff to do.
It is, because they're so ingrained, they're habitualized. And so we're breaking patterns. We're also, we're dealing with childhood stuff. A lot of our patterns come from, long time ago.
Right. No, I can relate to that too. As a child, going to a fast food restaurant was a reward. And so I associated, doing good or feeling good or relaxing with going out and eating something that may not be super healthy with me. But yet, anytime you get that smell from a carnival or, you go to a state fair and man, that corn dog on a stick looks so good. It's really not the best thing in the world for me, but it's the memory that I have associated to it. So you're trying to you're really going back and being nostalgic about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Tapping into your childhood.
Tapping into those childhood memories, the
right.
conditioning that I think a lot of us have had.
Right. Oh yeah, all of us have had some sort of childhood conditioning that was really great then, but then as we carry them forward into adulthood, they become points of pain,
right? That
need to be transformed or reevaluated. They have to be reevaluated. Is this really benefiting me?
That's a hard conversation to have.
It is. I get to have that quite a bit with people as a nutritionist.
Yeah.
Can I tell a story?
Yes, please.
So, I think one of the more profound experiences I had of learning the lesson was when I was sitting with a patient who had cancer, and they were talking with me about what they're doing and how they're treating it, and they were getting really riled up around it, and being really angry about, I'm gonna kill this thing, I'm gonna kill it, and really throwing out some F-bombs and I get that. I totally understand that, but I knew this person, so they had made radical life changes since their diagnosis, and I just posted and I said, I'm going to ask you if you might be willing to reframe this a little bit, and I'm going to ask you a question. I said, can you tell me how much your life has changed since that diagnosis? And he sat for a minute, and it just kind of it was amazing. I watched it wash over him, where
the
the
realization.
realization, and the first words out of his mouth were, actually, because of this diagnosis, I got my life back.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I've never taken such good care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I've never felt so alive. I've never felt so excited about life.
Mm-hmm.
And this person had had a radical, life-transforming experience because of their diagnosis.
Yeah.
And
Incredible.
Profound.
Yes.
And he got it. And then he realized that he could actually thank the cancer for giving him his life back, for waking him up out of the life he was living, which was drinking beer, eating potato chips, sitting on the couch,
Getting stressed.
Yeah, getting stressed. Exactly.
Right. Being angry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Being angry, and he's a completely different person because of it. And he realized that he could thank it and let go of it now, because he got the lesson.
Right.
That to me was a moment that fully encapsulated what healing is to me.
Wow.
That's healing.
Yes, and we all have the opportunity.
Yeah.
All the time.
Whether
it's someone cut you off in traffic, or you know, a family member was abusive towards you at some point in your life, or you made bad decisions in your life. I see a lot of people, and I have a lot of conversations around a lot of hard stuff, right? Because people, we all carry a lot of stuff. We have a lot of experiences, and we have really good memories, and our body remembers a lot too. So you start unpacking all of that, and someone's perspective may be from the point of view of the victim, right? Or someone may have overcome and actually use that moment in time of stress or strife to become a better version of themselves.
Right.
And we all have the choice, I think, to be a victim or come out ahead, or use what we may find as a negative at the time to be something that's actually positive when we look back.
That's right. I can think of the times for me when I've gone through the hardest experiences in my life, and at that moment couldn't make sense of it, and was in the victim mentality of like, why is this happening?
Like WTF.
Yes, WTF. Why is this happening to me?
Yes.
But then coming out the other side, and looking back on it, I can actually see it as one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. Because I chose to learn the lessons within those experiences, and not be a victim, and not play the blame game or the guilt and shame game, and take self-responsibility and realize that, this is how my life, this is what happened, and it happened for a reason, and find the positive within it, and that becomes the springboard to radical transformation.
Right. The springboard, I like that analogy. That's really good. Yeah, I'm always inspired by people's stories, and sometimes I'm blown away that someone has gone through something so horrible to end up here with us here at Siskiyou, and to be someone who's just sweet and giving, and all of those things that we all hope to be, like endearing, so they took something very negative and came from a very negative place to a place of just ultimate love and positivity. And so we all have the choice, and it really just takes a moment of reflection, digestion, right? We talk about this all the time. How do we digest all those things are coming at us, including our experiences, and realize that the time is now. All we can change is right now.
Right. Exactly. And everything that I've gone through in my life has led me to this moment right now.
Yes.
Right. So the timeline is actually imperfection.
Absolutely.
So once we can get that and realize that, all I can do is shift my thinking right now and address things in this moment. Right. And that's what changes the future. And that can actually change the past.
Absolutely. It can change relationships, maybe what you've had with a person, a place, a thing, right? Pick a noun.
That's right.
I have a bad memory of such and such place, but if I've changed my perspective, well, I might look at that place a little bit differently with a little bit of gratitude, right?
Right.
And I think one of the best things that you prescribe is a gratitude journal, or looking at things from a perspective of thankfulness and feeling grateful for the things that have come into our lives.
Yeah, I'm finding I'm calling it gratitude therapy these days.
Gratitude therapy.
Gratitude therapy. It's amazing what happens when we tap into gratitude for the things in our lives, even the challenges in our lives. How just finding gratitude for those things can transform our relationship with them.
And how do you prescribe that? What does the gratitude therapy look like for people? What do you do for yourself, maybe?
What do I do for myself? So what I do is I find that, it really has to start with understanding that everything that's led me to this moment now was in perfection, right? So it may have been hard, it may have been difficult, it's not pleasant, so I may have gone through some really hard things, but it all led me to this moment now, okay? And so then being able to find those pain points, and go, you know what? I'm going to cultivate a feeling of gratitude for that particular pain point, because without that, I wouldn't have gotten to this point, right?
Yeah.
And so then what I'll do is I'll just tap into a breathing into my heart and cultivating this feeling of, or just saying that I'm grateful for that experience. And then what begins to happen is it begins to just unravel. And rather than it being a pain point, I can see it as a gratitude point, and I can see the gift in it. So that's kind of a bit of what I do.
Yeah. I like that you find the gift in something that may be on the surface or at first glance very difficult or painful.
Right.
And maybe a roadblock. Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like you can see it as a roadblock, but if you really sit with that roadblock and go into those things and explore them to find the gift inside, you might come to learn that maybe that wasn't such a roadblock.
Right. Maybe I actually had to have that experience for my own good.
Right.
To get me here now.
Exactly. And I think personally one of our life's purposes is to actually come into a greater, I would say maybe a heart space, right? To live your life with more understanding and more love and more empathy.
Yeah.
And to inspire others around you to live within their heart space. Yeah. So to create a warm, loving environment with the people that we interact with on a daily basis, and even strangers, having a striking conversation up with the gas attendant or someone at the grocery store or someone that lined the bank, get to know people and really bring out their story and cultivate brotherhood and kinship. And we've had a conversation around food and lunch before around the whole gun issue and society as a whole. And I think that really what we're seeing are symptoms of a disconnection. Like we're really not connecting as individuals or as communities, because so many of us are busy at work, or we're on our phones, or we take connection as Facebook or Twitter or some other social media, when really it's about helping each other out and being good neighbors and just being really genuine, loving, kind human beings.
There's so much more that as human beings, we have so much more in common as human beings than we do things that separate us.
Yeah.
The things that separate us are usually just false constructs. They're opinions, perhaps, ways of seeing things. But in the end, as humans, we have so much more in common than we do different.
Yeah.
And I think it's when we can find that commonality, that common ground, seeking to find what do I have in common with this person, rather than what's different and that I don't like.
Right. Or even, what do I have to offer somebody?
Yeah.
Versus what are they going to give me?
Right.
Right. Or what are they trying to take from me?
Right.
Right. If you can give an offering, I think, just, I don't know if you all have donated or given your time freely or volunteered, but it really feels good. It's actually, when you give it away, you get so much more back. Karmically, spiritually, physically,
mentally.
Yeah.
It's like it's a key to alleviating depression. Actually,
I think so. I think that's why, in part, we're so successful in our practice, is that we really come from, at least I try to come from a heart space, and I know you come from a heart space, and Sandra and Lindsay and Paulina and the practitioners that are here.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody is really out to do good in the world.
Yeah.
And I would ask that all of you and out there in Facebook land, and I know some of you who are watching would do this, but can we all just bring that heart space forward?
Mm-hmm. Can we have heart space medicine?
Heart space medicine. Yeah. So that's something that's coming up for us. We've started a nonprofit called Heart Space Medicine, and Heart Space Medicine is about giving back to the community. If someone needs help in some way, that they're and either the financial barriers there, then Heart Space Medicine is hopefully going to step in and kind of take care of that for people. So and there will be more coming on Heart Space Medicine when we get it completely put together. But I think that's such a good concept, and I'm so glad that we have named the nonprofit Heart Space.
It's just fantastic.
It's so good.
Yeah. So it's healing on multiple levels is crucial for us as human beings, because we're whole human beings. We're not just a physical body. We have a mental, emotional side to us, spiritual side as well, if you choose to believe that. And one of the things that we really try to do here, I'm not going to say try. One of the things we do here is we address the whole human being, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual human being, and our services are really affordable. I mean, we're a cell phone bill.
Right.
I mean, it's really what we are, a cell phone bill. And there are some people who can't afford that. And that's where the Heart Space Medicine really is going to play an important role here in the Rogue Valley, I think, where for those people who can't afford these services but will be able to have access to them.
Right.
Because we all deserve health care. I think I really believe that we all need care.
Right. We all need human interaction and someone to listen.
Yep.
Right. And
exactly.
to care about us and to care for us.
Yep.
We all need it.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I think that was a great discussion on what is healing. We covered a lot, actually.
We did. We covered a lot of ground there.
Yeah. So if you guys have anything to add, please post it.
Yeah.
To our Facebook page, email us, call us if you have a special health topic you'd like to cover. We can cover just about anything.
It's true.
So
That's true.
Between the two of us, we have a lot of knowledge and background and a lot of experience. So post something and ask a specific question, even if it's something personal. Just if you feel like sharing, go ahead and do so, and we'll just be sort of general about things here and kind of talk about general concepts and maybe not speak to exactly what we would recommend for you personally, but definitely putting out some great information. And then we're starting classes in June with several health topics, but basically it's a dynamics of wellness course looking at what are the foundations of healing. So you guys are welcome to come. Do you know the days yet?
I believe it starts June 5th is the first day, and there'll be 2 classes a day, one in the morning from 10:30 to noon, one in the evening from 6 to 7:30. Topics are dynamics of nutrition, stress, how to manage it, how it affects you and how to manage it, detoxification, gut health, what else?
And heart math.
Heart math, that's right.
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
So
And then
cool.
we're also going to have some adjunct classes. So we have some other people who are going to be coming in teaching yoga, qigong, self-massage. So we have a variety of other things that are coalescing right now. So to keep on your radar.
Yeah. The other plug I want to make is for Dr. Casey Frieder. He does self-guided inquiry. So if any of you are sort of just struggling with making those lifestyle changes, or there's something that's keeps coming up for you have anxiety about, or losing sleep over, I would highly recommend that you see Dr. Casey Frieder and go through the self-guided inquiry. I think you're going to discover who you really are and what makes you really tick, and that could lead to some real life-changing revelations.
Yeah. And just to piggyback on that, we also have Maria Lapuma who does a group tapping circle the second and fourth Thursday of every month.
Very good.
From 6:30 to 8. I believe she does that. So that's another one, something to help you move through any kind of obstacles or manage your stress.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, and that sort of all fits in with regaining vitality and moving towards a sustainable wellness culture.
Yeah, right? Which is what we're all about.
We're all about it.
Wellness culture.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning
everyone.
in. And we'll see you in a week for another episode of Wednesday Night Live at Siskiyou Vitamin Medicine. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers. Stay dry.